You didn't think that I was going to do a keynote by sitting behind my desk. Hey, I'm in the middle of one of my more enjoyable spiritual practices. Yep, I'm at the end of about 24 miles on a bike, going down a little quiet path. Gonna put my bike back at home. Listen, let's check out some other ways in which you can express your spirituality every day. It's not just reserved for church, although it's there. It's not just in the sacraments, although it's there. It's everywhere. Let's find out how. Check it out. One of the ways that spirituality works for me is movement through my body, whether it's hiking on a trail like this or on my bicycle, or different ways swimming in a pond or lake or swimming pool. Different engagements with moving connects me with my heart, my lungs, my legs, my muscles. Fresh air. All of this is an expression of spirituality, everyday spirituality. Why? Because we as Christians we believe that in an incarnated God. In other words, while we acknowledge that God is in the wind, blowing in the wind, God is also in the person of Jesus Christ. And we are now, as St. Teresa of Avila said, to butcher her quote, we're the hands and feet of Jesus. And so movement is for me an act of prayer. Now, I know there are people that can get up every morning at 5 a.m. and they have a devotional book and they can meditate in prayer, and they can do that 7 days a week. I have an aunt who does that. While meditation is something that I do practice, prayer is something I do practice, I've never been able to stick with an annual yearly devotional book for more than 8 days, if that. Yet, put me on a trail like this by myself on an early spring day, and it is all prayer. Sometimes out loud. A day like today, there is nobody out here. It's early spring in New England. It's about 44 degrees, and people aren't interested in this. But I'll hike this trail, and some of my most profound encounters with God have happened in nature. What about you? Does moving your body, getting out, exercising in an informal or formal way connect you with parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed? Does the rumble-thumble of your heart make you go, oh, I'm alive. This is a gift. And it is a gift. And we can so often take it for granted. So, everyday spirituality, one of the ways that works for me is moving my body. Whether that's outside or inside. How about you? Do you engage in prayerful movement? It is time to go into the Holy of Holies. Yep, the bank. So here's the thing. Please take your cash. Return card, please. I'd like my card back. Thank you. Do I need a receipt? I am engaging in spirituality. Not so much with the withdrawal, although I suppose a little bit, but more, what am I going to do with this? of all the things that Jesus talked about, he talked about this stuff more than anything else. Yep, you look it up. I'm not wrong. I've done the research. Everyday spirituality is how we use this. What are we going to do with this? Oh, look, there's a friend of mine in the car over there. She's getting some money too. This is a real coincidence. She's looking at me like there's something wrong with me because she thinks I'm talking to myself and holding up money. It's pretty, yeah. Hi, how are you doing? I know. I'm making a movie. Anyway, let's go get spiritual, do some stuff with this. Is there anything more spiritual than turning this into that? Bread, wine, the daily necessities and gifts of God. Yes! So here's the deal. They don't really want me filming in here, but I'm gonna get some of those. And some of those. Ooh. And some of these. And I'm gonna go over here. And I'm gonna get some of this. Now, this is New England, so we gotta get our wine at a liquor store. You can't do that in a grocery store like you can in California. I gotta get out of here before I get in trouble. So when COVID hit, I did what a lot of other people did. Started a garden. Now you'll notice, if you've read the book Everyday Spirituality, in there, I'm not much of a gardener. In fact, it is not my job. Well, it wasn't until last year, and I have no idea why or what changed or what shifted, but clearly God had something in mind. So that chapter on garden, it's all wrong. Well, it's all right, except for the part where I say, I don't do the gardening. Now, I do a lot of the gardening. Let's check it out. So the idea here was to make something that could yield vegetables. I wanted to be vegetable gardening. Now, it's early spring, so there's not much going on. And yes, we have cheated with that lettuce back there. That is from some already grown. But this is an amazing experience of God's work. Composting. All our trash, I won't bother to throw at you garbage as in compostable trash. And that's going to be asparagus. Man, that's going to be a bear. For some reason, this whole experience is connecting me to the earth in ways I've never experienced before. Now, some might say it's a hobby. Yeah, that's true. What about you? Do you garden? Maybe your gardening is more like this. Flowering trees and plants and so forth. It doesn't matter what it is. It's an awesome way to connect with God's creation. So, gardening, it's a gift. And the vegetables, considering the number of tomatoes we got out of that last year, send me an email. I'll have to ship them to you because we won't be able to eat them all. And the yellow crook squash, I've been squashed all fall and winter long. Anyway, gardening, getting your hands in the soil, an expression of your faith. Imagine that. One of the things that Martin Luther talks about in his description of that part of the Lord's Prayer, Give us this day our daily bread. If you look in the Small Catechism, what does Luther say is daily bread? He's not just talking about bread, as in the loaf that we saw in the grocery store. He's talking about everything. Look at that list. Look up that part of the Small Catechism. It is a wonderful expression. Give us this day our daily bread is not simply about bread. It is about asparagus and squash and tomatoes and fruits and vegetables and all that we consume that give us life and that connect us with God's creation. It's a great gift, and it's an expression of your faith. So the next time you go to the garden store, just have a little bow of gratitude to the gardener or the proprietor of that store, because he or she is making it possible for you to live your faith. All of the stories that people wrote to me when I wrote the book, Everyday Spirituality, by far the most common descriptions of encounters with God, with the holy, with the sacred, with that which is mysterious and beyond yet present, were stories about death. I've come here to this cemetery in Westerly, Rhode Island, where there's a number of people that I buried when I served a congregation here. One of them was months old. You know, you may think I'm a little odd, but I sometimes come to this cemetery, or others, but mostly it's this one, because I need to be re-reminded of time. I need to be re-reminded of the limitations, and I need to be re-reminded that death affects us in how we live now and is not the final word. There are other people that come to this cemetery. They come for different reasons. Some people come to just, well, it's a place to walk. Sometimes I'll see somebody drive by like that relatively young couple, and I wonder, were they here for just a nice walk? Or were they visiting the grave of somebody that they miss? Everyday spirituality is reinforced by our encounter with the finite. So I think it was Martin Luther who said that we are born again each day, which is a different take on the whole concept of being born again than we've heard about in kind of American evangelical Christianity. I'm assuming Luther's right. Every morning we wake up, we're born again. And when you think about it, each night is kind of like a little death. Well, it's been a good day, and I'm going to sleep. I don't know about you, but I enjoy sleep. Now, sometimes I don't always get the best night's sleep. I tend to sometimes wake up at like 3 in the morning, and then my mind gets going. Do you have that? You know, and you can't go back to sleep? But when I have a good night's sleep, it's so rich and so wonderful. It has to be a gift from God. That's the way I look at it. The other thing that happens at night is we dream. And dreams are, in many ways, kind of, think of them as unopened letters from God. Yep, unopened, because for the most part, many of us we have a dream, or we say we don't remember, or we don't pay any attention. I don't know about you, but I got a journal right here next to my bed, and I write down my dreams. And I talk about them with my spiritual director. And I also have a dream group that I'm a part of, and we share our dreams.
It's a great way to explore and kind of work that concept that maybe this is a letter from God. You look back in the Old and the New Testament, and there are a lot of people pay a lot of attention to their dreams. When you're sleeping, you are engaged in everyday spirituality. So I'm about to go pray. Night.